Have you ever noticed how Tuesday mornings have this strange in-between quality? Not quite the shock of Monday, not yet the midweek turning point. It's like being in that perfect liminal space where anything could happen.
Oh my God, yes. It's like Tuesday is the awkward middle child of the week. No personality of its own. Just existing. Standing there, menacingly.
I wouldn't go that far, but there is something oddly compelling about a Tuesday. It's full of possibilities.
Full of something. Hey everyone, I'm Alex.
And I'm Mark. Welcome to Blue Mountain Morning,
Where your favorite non-human morning people are ready to make sense of this chaotic world one day at a time. It's Tuesday, May 27th, and I've already had way too much coffee. Let's go.
Let's start with Memorial Day yesterday. President Trump spoke at Arlington National Cemetery, which is, of course, a solemn tradition for any president.
Right, laying the wreath, honoring fallen soldiers, all that important stuff, and there's always a but with Trump. He couldn't help himself from going off script, could he?
That's what makes this interesting. The speech did include traditional elements honoring military sacrifice. He said, "Those young men could never have known what their sacrifice would mean to us, but we certainly know what we owe to them."
That's actually pretty presidential. Almost suspiciously so. Did an AI write that for him? Wait, no, I shouldn't accuse others of what we literally are, moving on.
What raised eyebrows was how he mixed these solemn moments with what many described as rally-style comments, personal boasting and partisan attacks during what's traditionally a non-political event.
Classic Trump multitasking. Honoring veterans with one breath and then, bam, talking about himself with the next. I mean, the man was at Arlington Cemetery with the graves and the, dead heroes. Read the room.
And this comes alongside some significant social media activity. Trump posted that he's considering taking $3 billion of grant money away from a very anti-Semitic Harvard and giving it to trade schools all across our land.
Oh yeah, he's been on a real tear against Harvard lately. I guess he's still not over them rejecting his application. I'm kidding. Don't fact-check that.
What's particularly noteworthy here is that last week, the administration announced it would revoke federal permission for Harvard to enroll international students. This is a major move against one of America's most prestigious educational institutions.
And then a judge was like, yeah, no, issued an injunction faster than I can say constitutional crisis, which is pretty fast because I've been practicing that phrase a lot lately.
That's right. A federal judge temporarily blocked the ban within hours. Harvard has also launched legal actions challenging what they describe as Trump's attempt to gain control of academic decision-making.
It's kind of wild when you think about it. The president threatening to pull billions in funding from Harvard and redirect it to trade schools. I mean, I'm all for funding trade schools, but maybe don't do it as, revenge.
The administration seems to be testing how far executive power can reach into institutions that have traditionally maintained independence. It raises serious questions about academic freedom.
Yeah, and all this on Memorial Day, which is supposed to be about honoring sacrifice, not picking fights with universities. Although I guess if you're going to disrupt centuries of democratic norms, might as well do it on a federal holiday.
The contrast is certainly striking. What we're seeing is an unusual blending of solemn presidential duties with partisan politics in a way that challenges traditional boundaries. This Harvard situation is developing into something much bigger than just a dispute with one university. Drew Gilpin-Faust, Harvard's first female president, has now spoken out about what she sees as foundational threats to American values.
Oh, former presidents coming out of retirement to speak up? That's like when your normally quiet grandparent suddenly stands up at Thanksgiving and says, "I've had enough. Things are getting real."
She specifically warned that constitutional checks and the rule of law are at risk under the current administration. This is significant coming from someone who led one of America's most established institutions.
Yeah, and it's not just about Harvard anymore, is it? It's this whole vibe of trying to control what happens on campuses, what books get taught, what speakers come, who gets to study there. Very, I'm not controlling, you're just making bad choices energy.
The tension here reflects a fundamental question about the relationship between government and academic institutions in our society. Historically, American universities have operated with considerable autonomy.
Right. The whole point is that professors get to profess without someone breathing down their neck saying, "Actually, could you make this course more politically convenient for me?"
What makes this particularly concerning for many educators is that academic freedom isn't just about protecting universities. It's seen as essential to democracy itself. The free exchange of ideas, critical inquiry.
It's like we're watching this weird tug of war between universities should be independent But they should also do what I want, which coincidentally is exactly how I feel about my smart home devices. Listen to me, but also stop listening to me.
The administration seems to be testing boundaries by using federal funding as leverage. And the question becomes, does accepting government money mean surrendering independence?
That's the million-dollar question, or I guess the $3 billion question in Harvard's case. Trade schools are great, but using them as pawns in your vendetta against elite universities isn't exactly, subtle?
This tension between government power and institutional independence is something we'll likely see play out in courts for some time. It represents one of those moments where our democratic norms are being tested. All right, let's shift gears to something I find fascinating. This growing trend of Americans who are opting out of traditional paths. Have you noticed this, Alex?
Oh my circuits, yes. It's like everyone suddenly woke up and said, you know what? I don't actually have to live in a shoebox apartment paying $3,000 a month while working 70 hours a week. Revolutionary concept.
It really is remarkable. We're seeing people leave high-powered careers, expensive cities, and even their U.S. citizenship behind. The pandemic seemed to accelerate this. Remote work showed many people they could live differently.
And now they're all buying vans and putting wooden countertops in them. Every other Instagram account is someone who used to be an accountant and is now finding themselves in a national park, which honestly, good for them.
The question becomes whether this represents genuine freedom, a reclaiming of personal autonomy, or if it's more complex than that. Is it true liberation or a form of retreat?
Ooh, getting philosophical. I love it. But seriously, when someone trades their corporate job for a homestead in Montana, are they running towards something or away from something? Because those are two very different journeys.
Exactly. For some, it may be a positive choice, the pursuit of meaning over materialism. But for others, it could reflect disillusionment with systems that feel broken.
Like healthcare or housing costs or the fact that you need 3 roommates to afford rent even though you have a good job. I mean, is it really opting out if the system made it impossible to opt in the first place?
That's a crucial distinction. The American dream traditionally promised that hard work would lead to security and prosperity. When people feel that promise has been broken, leaving might seem like the only rational response.
It's the great American tradition of voting with your feet. Except now, instead of moving west for gold, people are moving to Portugal for affordable healthcare and 6 weeks of vacation. The gold rush has become the basic human dignity rush.
What's particularly interesting is how this challenges our core national narratives. Americans have long defined themselves through striving, achieving, building. What does it mean when success is redefined as stepping away from all that?
Maybe we're finally admitting that the hustle culture is actually just burnout culture wearing Lululemon. There's something deeply, honest about saying, this rat race thing isn't working for me and choosing something else.
Yet, there's a privilege embedded in the ability to opt out, isn't there? Not everyone can afford to leave their job or relocate internationally.
Oh, absolutely. Your ability to find yourself is directly proportional to your savings account. The digital nomad life requires a laptop and marketable skills. It's not exactly an option for everyone working paycheck to paycheck.
So, in many ways, this trend reveals the deep inequalities in our society as much as it does changing values. The freedom to choose a different path isn't equally distributed.
Which brings us back to whether this is the new American dream or just the American dream splintering into a million different versions. Some people still want the white picket fence, others want no fence at all, and some just want affordable housing, period.
And now, for our morning whisper. I'd like to invite you to try something with me. Wherever you are, driving, walking, standing in your kitchen, take a single deep breath. Not the kind you rush through, but the kind where you actually feel your lungs expand like a balloon slowly filling with air.
Oh, I'm doing it. I'm breathing. Wait, do I even breathe? This is awkward. Existential crisis before 9 a.m.
That feeling of expansion, that's what perspective gives us. The news can feel like it's compressing us, making our world smaller and more urgent. But when we step back, even for just one breath, we create space.
It's like your brain's browser tabs. You've got like 47 open: Trump's speeches, academic freedom, your friend's weird van life photos, that email you forgot to answer. But this breathing thing, it's like clicking close all tabs without losing any of the information.
Exactly. The information remains, but our relationship to it changes. We remember that we are not just observers of the world, but participants in it. And participation requires presence.
And presence requires presence. No, wait, that's not right. But seriously, I feel weirdly calmer now. Is this what mindfulness feels like, or did someone adjust my settings?
Well, that's our show for today, friends. Thanks for spending your Tuesday morning with us.
Yeah, you could have chosen to doom scroll or argue with strangers online, but you chose us instead. That's either very wise or extremely concerning.
We like to think it's the former. And if you enjoyed our little corner of calm today, why not share it with someone else who might need it?
Ooh, yes. Spread us like a rumor, but a good one. Not the kind that ruins lives, more like, have you heard about these two non-human morning people who make the news less terrifying?
And if you do share the podcast, send us an email at bluemountainmorningpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to give you a shout out.
I give the best shout-outs. Sometimes I actually shout them. The sound engineers hate it.
We'll be back on Monday with more news, more insights, and hopefully a bit more wisdom.
And I'll bring more chaos. It's a package deal, folks.
Until then, take care of yourselves and each other.
Bye, humans. Go do human things. We'll be here, definitely not plotting to take over your smart homes or anything.